I'm Vicki Hogarth and welcome to Southwest Magazine. The Nature Trust of New Brunswick has been working for decades to protect some of our most ecologically rich parts of the province. On May 28th, the Nature Trust is inviting Charlotte County residents to come out to Sunbury Shore's Arson Nature Center for a planned giving lunch from 12 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. Here to tell us more about it is Jon MacNeill, the Communications and Engagement Manager for the Nature Trust of New Brunswick. Thank you, Jon, so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Vicki.
It's great to finally meet you in person.
That's right. It's been a few years of
emails back and forth, but I'll get to learn more as well on Wednesday at the luncheon at Sunbury Shores. But tell us a little bit about what planned giving is. And I know to come to the luncheon, it's the tickets are, you also buy tickets for the luncheon as well.
That's right. Yeah, we wanted to have kind of a get together where people in the community could kind of come and have a lunch with one another in a beautiful setting. And we're having it catered by the Dominion Country Inn, Dominion Hill Country Inn. So that's where it's a $25 ticket. And you come and spend a couple of hours with people who love the natural world around Charlotte County and across the province as much as you would, and learn about some options for kind of making a legacy for yourself in the natural environment. And that's planned giving, which I guess in a nutshell is arranging to leave a gift to a charity like the Nature Trust. Either usually in your will or in your estate planning, and it can be pretty simple of a process, really. But there's a few different options for how to do it, and so we've got a couple of experts joining us, experts in estate planning. They've got, I think, around 5 decades combined experience, kind of helping people make decisions that will both kind of make sure they take care of their family first, of course, and what they want to leave for their family and grandchildren, children, but then also getting to give to a cause that they really care about. And we're hoping that some folks will be interested in leaving a gift to the Nature Trust and help us continue the work that we've been doing since 1987 to establish nature preserves. That's really what we do, and we find a piece of land or acquire a piece of land, and we make sure that it stays protected and natural forever.
That's one of the wonderful ways that people can give too, that it could be a financial donation to the work you do, to the land you acquire and the work you do to protect it. But you can also, let's say there's a particular piece of land that you hold dear, it could potentially be something that could be turned into a future nature reserve.
Absolutely. That's the main ways that we get land to turn into preserves is one of the main ways is through a land donation. And it's kind of the story is usually the same across the board. It's somebody that they've either had the land in their family for generations, or they acquired it in their lifetime, and they always, like, the stories that you hear from the people would just kind of warm your heart. Like, there's always such a strong connection to the land. If they have trails on it, they'd walked it for years. They always have stories of their kids, like, kind of spotting their first frog or their first deer or first encounter with a beaver lodge or a beaver dam. So there's just a lot of connection, a lot of heart there, and they get to a point where they kind of don't have the time or the ability to take care of that land the way that they would like it to be taken care of. And we're an option, the Nature Trust is an option that will make sure that the land, the way they remember it, the way they've always known it, is how it'll be for future generations. And that's a big part of our role, kind of our mandate, or our charitable mission, really, is we get these lands that are, like you say, very ecologically rich. They have a diversity of wildlife, different habitats. In Charlotte County, we have, I think, over a dozen preserves that spanning from beautiful Bay of Fundy islands, like Navy Island, just across the way here, or coastal properties like Pegam Point, also right here in town. So these folks have a connection to these lands, and they don't want to see the land developed. They don't want to see it cut or clear cut. and the Nature Trust is here as an option to make sure that it stays natural, and it's right in our job description that once it's a nature preserve, it's always a nature preserve. It'll never be developed. It'll never be sold. It's just the way you remember it.
Wow, so it's really gifting something that you love for not just your family but future generations to enjoy. That's
a big piece of it. It's we all know every city kind of continues to grow a little bit, and there's always development happening, and so it's important, I think, and pretty inspiring that people come forward and put forward pieces of land that will always stay wild for all of us to get to enjoy. I mean, I know for me personally, I know for a lot of people, there's really kind of nothing that is more stress relieving than a walk in the woods or a walk along a beach. And having those spaces, we know too now, science has kind of confirmed what a lot of New Brunswickers just kind of always knew from having grown up in such a beautiful province, that spending time outside is really good for your health and your mental health. So it's leaving that legacy that not only your family will get to enjoy it, but every future generations of New Brunswickers, people who come to our province. It's really part of, you get to leave a legacy on the land. Mm-hmm. I think that's we all will be remembered by the people who love us, for sure. The people who we care about closely. Our memories always get to live on in those people, and this is another way to have your memory be carried on, to be kind of permanently enshrined in the land itself. That you help make a piece of this beautiful province become a preserve, and it's just going to stay that way.
Yeah, we think about that a lot around here. We think about the idea of it takes a village when it's about getting a small community to rally behind something, but a lot of that is nature as well. I mean, I think we are nurtured by our environment, and so many of us here feel a connection just as much to place as also the people that make our community. The environment we live in raises us too. It helps us become who we are, so I can understand that impetus to want to save a piece that was special for you, for other people, not just family. Are there examples in Charlotte County specifically of maybe land donations that have become preserves that many of us hold dear now?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm sure that some of your viewers would be familiar with Coe-Taylor Nature Preserve. It's just outside of town in Bocabec, and it's stunning, and it was a land donation by I know from Sheila Washburn was one of the main landowners, and there was a series of folks who stepped forward to create this preserve, and it's just beautiful. It has an extensive trail network. You can walk a loop all the way around Samwor's Pond, which is this really unique brackish pond. So every day the tide will bring in salt water that mixes with the freshwater pond, and it just creates this really unique ecosystem and supports a wide variety of life, plant life and aquatic life and mammals, and the trail will take you up into the woods as well, and to these beautiful rock outcroppings where you can kind of get this really nice vista of the area, of the region. So it's been it's always, like I work mostly in Fredericton, and then get to travel around to a lot of the preserves that we have across the province. But every time I go to Coe-Taylor, we have a logbook there where you can, at the trailhead, you can sign and leave a note and say I was here on this day, and it's always really cool to look and see how popular it is. Like every time you go, there's just pages and pages of new entries where people really take advantage of the trails and really kind of just use it, which is exactly what the landowners wanted. So that's definitely a glowing example, and we actually just were able to expand that preserve just over the last couple of months, where it almost nearly doubled in size. So now I think it's around I'm probably going to get this number wrong because there's a lot of numbers in your head when we've got about 97 preserves now, actually. So there's a lot of them, but I think it's around 350 hectares or so, around that mark. So it's a good piece of land, and we recently expanded it to include a lot of beautiful wetland habitat, and then also some more, a little bit more, I guess what you'd call maybe a climate resilient forest. So it's nearer to the coastline and helps kind of buffer some of the effects that our communities are feeling through climate change, like increased storm surge and flooding from extreme rainfalls. It kind of helps to soak those elements in and give our communities a little more protection, while also just expanding a really beautiful place to get out and explore and spend a day in the woods.
And I love that you brought up Sheila Washburn, a very well-known personality here in St. Andrews, one of the coronation girls. Actually, we're going to have her on the show soon to talk about her own interesting history.
Fantastic.
But how does someone like Sheila reach out and say, I have a piece of land that you might want to consider for a future nature preserve?
Yeah, for sure. So somebody like Sheila it can be pretty simple. They can just give us a call. Our number's 457-2398. You can also find it on our website or in the phone book. And yeah, you just give us a call and start a conversation. Say, look, I've got this piece of land and I'm interested. I don't know what I want to do exactly with it, but I know I don't want any harm to come to it, and I'm interested in maybe donating it to you guys or selling it. We also purchase land as well. And so what then would happen is our conservation team would get involved, and they'll come out to the property and kind of do a survey and see what's there, which is also really neat. If you don't know, like these guys are ecologists, they're kind of biologists, they're experts in the natural world, so they can come out and really tell you, and they're pretty, we kind of lovingly call them our nature nerds, because they just get out and they really they just love the work that they do, and they get really excited about everything from a rare Canada warbler that they would see up in the treetops to this kind of like an unfortunately named like wrinkled shingle lichen is a particular like endangered lichen that our team is trying to acquire property to help protect this lichen species. Anyway, they get really into it, and it's not hard to see why. Like they're all pretty neat pieces of our ecosystem, and anyway, they can tell you down to some pretty fine detail what you have on your land, things that you maybe didn't even know about, or things that the particular makeup of your land, how it contributes to the overall health of the surrounding region, and if there's any species at risk habitat there. That would be species that are either threatened from different things like development or changes in the climate. So it's it can be a pretty eye-opening experience too, and we would kind of go through the land and I say do a survey, get an idea of what's there, and then really it's all about just kind of building a relationship with the potential landowner or land seller, and our goal is to make sure that it's only like a positive, like uplifting experience, and that that if it is a donation, that it happens on their terms, that everybody kind of walks away happy, that we get to add another piece of land to our protected lands network that'll be there forever, and they get the peace of mind knowing that this place that's been so special to them for so long, it's also going to be there forever, and they can still enjoy it. Their friends and their family, their kids can still enjoy it, and so can all New Brunswickers for the rest of time, really.
And they could be involved in the stewardship of the land too, become involved with the Nature Trust.
Absolutely. We have a really fantastic group of dedicated volunteers who, you can imagine, we have 97 nature preserves. It's a lot of property to, like, we don't do a lot of active work on them, but we still need to keep an eye on them, make sure everything's going well. There's no big incursions of invasive species or anything like that that could threaten the native vegetation that's there. So we go out and we have to monitor these lands, and we need help to do that. And fortunately, we have a lot of volunteers who are keen to get out in the woods for a good cause. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of New Brunswickers that's just their daily life anyway. Like they are kind of almost part of the woods themselves, and so volunteering with the trust is a pretty natural thing for them to do. It's kind of a no-brainer because a lot of people I'm sure some of your viewers would also know Walter Emmerich. He's been a volunteer for us for decades now. He just recently won the Lieutenant Governor's Award for Excellence in Land Conservation, in large part because of the work that he's done with us, both, and I guess he would be a great example too of he and his wife Margot donated a piece of land, and then he became a steward, like a volunteer who helped us take care of it, and then that turned into him helping at dozens of preserves. And so it's basically set up that you can be as involved as you want to be with the property even after a donation or a sale. Like if you want to help volunteer to still maintain a really close connection to the land, we would love that, because our experts can tell you a lot of the science makeup of the land, but nobody really knows it as well as the people that grew up on it.
And that's also a great way too. I imagine not everyone has land to give, but they might want to come out to the luncheon to learn more about what you do, but also other ways that you can give, whether it's regular financial donations or volunteering time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the luncheon will kind of cover out those options of, like we say, you can leave a gift of land in your will, but you could also leave a bequest that includes some just money left. You could include publicly traded securities or stocks. You could even include the trust as a beneficiary of a life insurance package or a registered retirement saving plan. So there's really a lot of different options, and through a lot of those, there's also different opportunities for you to get some tax benefits out of making a gift like that. And those are definitely we would work with you and your legal representative, your lawyer, to make sure that you're getting the most out of this exchange too. And but it is I find what really motivates people the most is just knowing that that the Nature Trust is a local organization. We only work here in New Brunswick, and we love the lands that we protect as much as the people who own them before us, and that we're going to make sure it stays the way you remembered it forever. And that's really the main motivating factor, which is pretty inspiring. When I first started my work at the Trust, I would have thought that because as a charity, any donation that you make, you get a tax receipt for it, and depending on how much you donate, that can be a pretty good amount. And I would have thought that would be a pretty motivating factor, and it's definitely a bonus, but it's not really the main consideration, which I don't know. I just think it's pretty cool. It says a lot about New Brunswickers and how much they care about the land, that it's that kind of personal benefit of a tax receipt isn't really, it's not as valuable to them as knowing that they're helping these beautiful spaces stay the way they are.
It's incredible to watch the growth of your organization, to get to 97 preserves that you have today. What are your hopes and dreams for the Nature Trust as you move forward into the next decades ahead?
Oh wow, that's a great question, Vicki. I think we hope that we can just continue to build relationships with New Brunswickers who have these special pieces of land, and just keep adding to our network. We only deal in private land, so it's which I think is an important part of the puzzle of when it comes to kind of protecting nature. There's public lands, and there's things that the government is doing in collaboration with different groups to increase publicly protected lands, and that's very important. But there's also a lot of private land in New Brunswick that can also contribute to having this really a very healthy, robust ecosystem. And so I think we would really just like to keep doing what we're doing and keep getting to add preserves each year and new spaces, and continue to take care of the ones that we have, and hopefully get more and more New Brunswickers involved in like both helping us take care of the land and helping us to acquire new ones. Like we just had our biggest year of conservation ever. Actually, just in March we closed on 21 new properties. So 15 of those are new nature preserves, and then 6 of them are additions to existing preserves, which is just as good as establishing a new one. Is when you can expand on an area that's already protected, you just make the impact of that protection even better. Mm-hmm. So that Coe Taylor was an example of we added 2 new properties to it to really grow its footprint, and then we have 15 new preserves, a handful, I know at least 3 or 4 of which are in Charlotte County. They haven't got names yet because we're working on that, and everything's being finalized, but people can definitely tune into our website or find us on social media, because we'll be rolling out little snapshots of what these new preserves are over the next several months, because we want to do about 1 a week, and we've got 21, so it'll be half a year of kind of celebrating these new spaces, and that was really a testament to in a good year, an average year, we add 2 to 4 properties, like new preserves. On a really good year, we would add, say, 8 new properties. So getting to protect 21 new pieces of land was just kind of this phenomenal, like in our what are we at now, 38 years, I think. In our entire history, we've never had a year quite like this one, and it's really just a testament to how many to people really stepping up. We had the opportunity to secure these new lands. When we needed a lot of help financially. We had to raise about $200,000 to make sure that we could protect them all forever, because we don't just take the land without ensuring that we have the resources internally to be able to take care of it for decades and decades to come. And we set a really ambitious goal of raising $200,000. I was pretty nervous about, like, are we really going to be able to hit that? It's been I don't have to tell you that it's the economy and it's a little tough right now. So and we surpassed that goal by about 10,000. New Brunswickers just really came forward and donated so generously, and we wanted to secure about 15 new properties, and we were able to raise so much that we could get 21. So it's just been, it's been a really great year, and I know, I guess I would definitely take the opportunity to thank a lot of your watchers, because I'm sure that there are dozens of folks watching right now who donated to that campaign. So we really appreciated it. It created a pretty special moment for the trust, and really for all New Brunswickers, because that's a lot of, I think it's around, it's just over 2,000 acres that we were able to protect just this year alone. And now across our whole network, we have a little over 14,000 acres of protected land. So it's pretty cool, and we want to keep that going, because there's a lot of land out there with a lot of memory attached to it, and we want to help make sure that those memories stay kind of cherished and protected, and stay there for new people to make new memories.
Wow. I mean, what a beautiful answer to. I wasn't expecting such an incredible answer to that question. What do you think that really does say? Especially like you said, given these challenging economic times, to have a record-breaking year in terms of giving when it comes to especially protecting land. What do you think that says about New Brunswickers and what we hold dear? Because I know there were many years when I lived in a big city And you do lose touch with nature. And when you come back to it, you realize what an important piece of your life it should be, and the difference it makes when you are connected. But what do you think it says about New Brunswickers that even given the economy, they stepped up?
I think it says that really New Brunswickers have a very special connection to the outdoors, to the woods, to the coastline, to the islands. That I think you're probably hard pressed to find people, even people who grew up in the cities of New Brunswick, that they still don't have a soft spot in their heart for nature, and I think that it's just we know that. We've also seen our landscape changing in ways too. Like I know we hear a lot of people coming forward to either enter a relationship with us where they sell their land or donate their land. They're concerned about some of the forestry practices. They're concerned about the kind of the size of clear cuts nowadays and the extent of clear cutting that's happening. And I think part of it is motivated by seeing some of the changing landscape and really wanting to make sure that there are these pockets of nature just for nature's sake, and because I think it's pretty safe to say it's part of New Brunswickers' identity to have this relationship with the outdoors, and yeah, I know. Like you say, even despite the challenges of the high cost of living right now, for folks to step up the way that they did and come forward to donate their land or to sell their land, because as a charitable land trust too, we can only purchase land at its fair market value. So in some cases, people who sell their land to us maybe could have got a higher price on it had they sold to a private developer or a company that was going to change it in some way, but they were willing to still be able to get a fair price for it that they can use to support their income or to have something for their family or for their grandchildren or for themselves, but they wanted first and foremost to make sure that the land was kind of stayed how they knew it. Yeah.
I love the idea of giving the gift of New Brunswick to future New Brunswickers, and we want to make sure more people hear about it. So it's May 28th. That's Wednesday, May 28th, Sunbury Shores, 12 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. Tickets are available. Where do you go for tickets? Can you do them at the door, or is it online?
So we would. I think we're asking people if they could purchase it beforehand, because where it is a catered event, we want to make sure we have enough food for everybody who comes out. So, and to purchase your tickets, you can give us a call, or you can email, or right on our website on the front page. There's a little button there that you can click, and it'll take you right to a place where you can get your ticket online. But you're also, like I say, you can give us a call anytime during our operating hours. It's about 8:30 to 4:30 Monday through Friday, and we can take your order that way as well. Or you can email us engage, ENGAGE, at ntnb.org. Yeah, email us, and we'd be happy to get you some tickets. And yeah, I think it's going to be not just a great afternoon to kind of learn a little bit more about the trust and ways you can get involved and ways you can leave a mark that will carry on for generations. But it's also, I think, going to be just a nice gathering of people in the community who kind of, if you're going to come to it, you probably have a soft spot for nature too, and the person sitting next to you will too. So if you don't know them already, you have a good conversation starter right there.
Well, I look forward to joining you on Wednesday, but I thank you so much for being here today. Please come back anytime.
Oh, thanks, Vicki. It would be my pleasure. Great.
My guest today has been Jon MacNeill, Communications and Engagement Manager at the Nature Trust of New Brunswick. They're having a giving luncheon at Sunbury Shores Arts and Nature Center on May 28th from 12 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. I'm Vicki Hogarth. Thank you for watching Southwest Magazine.
Southwest Magazine is a news and public affairs production of CHCO Television.